Hi everyone! So sorry for the slightly strange camera angle, but I am back on campus. In my last video I said about work-life balance and trying not to work weekends, and it is a Saturday and I am working at my university campus, but we've been able to show some of our current offer holders, so some of the students who are thinking about coming to study with us in September. I could give them a tour today of the department, and it was just so nice to be able to take them around the laboratories and see some of our facilities. And I thought whilst I was on campus I would hop on and record this week's video. Thank you all so much for the lovely comments. We have had some brilliant video suggestions come in, from looking at the H index, which we can definitely do in a future video, to thinking about career progression and maintaining that healthy work-life balance, which maybe I'm not winning at this weekend, but I will go home after this to relax. But in today's video, I wanted to pick up on a topic that quite a few people have been talking about in our comments, and that's how do you actually find a postdoc or a lectureship position? And then when you do find one, how do you apply for it? So if we take in this video, just the first step is, where do you look if you want to find a postdoc or a lectureship? And I think there's several tactics you can do here. So you can start off by looking at universities themselves. So I specialise in nuclear physics. There's some nuclear physics labs and laboratories that are quite well known. So if I wanted to find a new position somewhere, I might want to start off by looking and targeting those university institutions that I know would be a good match to my career interests. So you can have a look at the university websites, see if they've got any vacancies. So most universities will put up current lists of vacancies for both postdocs and for lectureship positions. Here in the UK, there's a website called jobs.ac.uk. Now that website is really, really useful if you're searching for a UK-based position, because you can search in terms of your area of specialism, you can look at a particular career stage with a postdoc or a lectureship. It's a really good way of getting an overview of the current vacancies that are out there, and it's a really nice way of being able to see what the current job requirements are for those different positions. But sometimes jobs.ac.uk isn't going to work, sometimes you might not be able to find things at a university. So then what do you do? Well, if you're an existing researcher, you can tap into your existing network. So it can be quite useful when you go to conferences to keep records of kind of the speakers and areas that you liked, where do they work, which laboratories or which universities were they connected to, and then really use these conferences properly as networking events. And we can do a video about networking, because sometimes it comes naturally and sometimes networking can feel a little bit forced. At the moment, we're having to do network quite often on a virtual conference, and that's quite tricky. When you're in a room with people and you can just naturally go up to them and have a chat, maybe over some drinks or nibbles, it can be a bit easier to network. The conferences at the moment have these kind of social networking rooms, but you have to elect to go into them, and then you're on a kind of virtual call with somebody, and that can be difficult if you're new to the area or you've not met the person before. But really, networking at conferences can help you then find out about job opportunities that are coming up. You can talk to people who are working at places that you'd like to work to. Sometimes they're adverts. Quite often these conferences will put up job notice boards, and you can actually look at the conference for particular vacancies in your area. So yeah, definitely consider networking at conferences. Definitely consider looking in academic publications and kind of casual magazines related to your area. So I work as a physicist, so there's various magazines I can look at, Physics World, New Scientist, a few others, and they might have advert sections at the back. And again, you can look at those advert sections to see PhDs and postdocs and lectureship positions. It's kind of like a fact-finding mission sometimes to get all these pieces of information together. But lectureship positions can be quite challenging to find. I think I said in one of my earlier videos, I'll include a link to it if I can find the link, but it's lots of people study a particular topic, and then only a very small fraction will go on to maybe do PhDs, and an even smaller fraction will go on to become lecturers. And once people have a lectureship appointment, they don't tend to move on that quickly. You might find your academic staff members are staying at that institution for a good chunk of their career, and sometimes then for all of their career. So it can be difficult to find these opportunities. But I think your best tactics, or tactics that worked for me, were look at targeted university websites where you think you might be interested in going. Look at the kind of the generic search engines. So for me, that's like jobs.ac.uk. You can go to conferences and try the best you can to network. Check out conference notice boards for lectureship opportunities. Read the relevant kind of publications in your area, kind of like your not really your journals, but more your kind of relaxed magazines, because they might have job adverts at the back. And then there's other things. Maybe you might be able to do a secondment to a place. Maybe you might be able to do a summer placement at a place. And these might be ways to get like a foot in the door to then getting your dream postdoc or your dream lectureship. But it's hard, I'm not going to say it's easy to find a job. I think I was very lucky that the right job for me came up at the right university at the right time. Don't be disheartened if you've been looking for a job for a while. It might just take a little bit of time for the right job in your subject area to come up. But if you've got any top tips for how you go about finding a postdoc or a lectureship, please put them in the comments. It's a challenging old world, academia, sometimes. So any help that we can give each other to find these opportunities, I'm sure will be gratefully received by everybody now in this kind of YouTube space that we've got going on. In a future video, I'm going to talk through the application process. It's quite involved. I think I've done a couple of videos in the past, but it's probably time to refresh them and actually kind of chat through the various steps and what it's like to put in an application to become a lecturer or a postdoc. But in the meantime, I'm going to probably get a few clips of campus because it's really sunny. Have an awesome week. Keep staying safe, keep looking after yourselves, get some relaxation time, make sure you're getting a good work-life balance, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.